Okay, so this morning we're going to do a little bit of like a mandala flow. So I know normally when I'm still kind of figuring out teaching in the virtual sense. I'm used to having real live students in the room with me, but usually I don't like to have my back to you. So through a normal virtual class, I would get into a posture, find that my back is to you, so I would just turn to the other side. I'm not going to do that today because I am doing a mandala flow. So we're going to continue to circle around the mat, and I don't want to confuse you by changing my position. So I'm going to stay and just try my hardest not to have my back to you. And if I do, talk over my shoulder. But I'm going to stay focusing on one side being my front of the mat. So that way it's a little bit easier for you to follow. We're going to move through it a few times. The first time, very, very slow. And then the second time, just a little bit quicker. And then maybe if we have time for a third time, then we'll do a nice sort of vinyasa flow with like a one breath, one movement. So you shouldn't need much. There'll be a little bit of knee down stuff. So if you want a blanket for your knees, feel free. And if you have blocks or books of some kind, you might want them. Again, you might not need them that much because we will be flowing a little bit. I'm gonna grab the blocks just so I can demonstrate when we can use them, if you do have them. And we will get started. So start in a nice, comfortable seat. We'll start with some warm up. So either in Sukhasana, easy pose, or on the shins in Vajrasana, diamond pose. Whatever's more comfortable for the knees. Shift forward, remove any flesh out from underneath your sit bones, and then shift your shoulders back over the hips. Let your hands land on your thighs, or perhaps they gather into the center of your lap, whatever comes naturally. And we'll start with some full deep breath. So in through your nose as you inhale, really draw the breath all the way up to the heart. Feel the rib cage expand and lift as you fill with air. Chest lift. And then on your exhale, part your lips and sigh all the breath out. We'll take two more. Inhale, full deep breath. Maybe even feel your shoulders creep up towards your ears, and then on your exhale, release through the mouth. If the shoulders lifted up, draw them down with the release. And then one more. Inhale, shoulders roll up if you're taking the movement. Exhale, release. And come back to a natural breath. In and out through your nose. Feel the energy settle. Feel the length of your spine. As your tailbone draws down, feel the energy that surrounds your foundation. Sort of like a gentle blanket, sort of weighted you, rooting you down, grounding you into the earth. From that sensation of grounding, feel the length of the rest of your spine. Heart lifts, shoulders roll back. Back of your neck is nice and long as the crown of your head reaches towards the sky. So you feel that gentle density towards the base of your spine, and that lightness, that upward rising through the rest of your spine. And with all of that space, bring awareness into your breath. Inviting in a little bit more of an expansive breath through each round, slowly beginning to deepen. If you find that your breath pace is a little fast, start to slow it down. And begin to even out through the inhale and the exhale. Perhaps you layer on a little count of 4 or 5 to make sure that your inhale and your exhale are balanced. And as you sit in your centering, in your meditation, in your breath practice, whatever you want to refer to it as, notice the energy of your being begin to settle. So the energy of your being is all 3 layers: your physical body, your breath body, and your thought body. As you keep awareness, attention on your breath, notice what happens to your thoughts. Perhaps they begin to slow down, or you may notice a little bit of space in between each thought. It is Saturday morning. You might have had a busy, long work week, and therefore this awareness, this attentiveness is sort of waking up your thought process. If you just kind of rolled out of bed and came to the mat a little groggy. So just notice. As you bring awareness to all layers of your being, notice what happens. Notice where you are. And take a little mental note. And it's most important to find non-judgmental, compassionate awareness towards where you are to start in your practice. And take about 3 to 5 more rounds in this full body of awareness. Body, breath, and mind. As you sit, if an intention begins to bubble up to the surface, take a moment or take a breath to really seal that intention into your being, to absorb it, to let it wash over you as you carry it through your practice. If you are in a cross-legged position, switch to have the opposite foot in front. And if you're on your shins, make sure your legs aren't falling asleep, maybe with a block or something underneath. And then open your eyes nice and gently, let your hands come down by your sides, and inhale, arms reach up overhead, stretch the fingers nice and wide. Let your hands tap overhead, and then exhale, hands move away from each other. Keep that active fingers and notice how it brings a stretch into your shoulders and your chest. We'll take 2 more. Inhale. Maybe the gaze comes up with the hands as you open the front of your throat, and then exhale. Maybe your chin drops down to your chest to open the back of your neck. Take 1 more. And exhale. Bring your gaze back up to neutral. Keep your right hand on the ground. Inhale your left arm up and over. Stay grounded through the left hip. And then inhale through center. Switch, other side. Left hand lands, right arm lifts. Stay grounded through the opposite hip. And begin to move with your breath, left and right. Maybe you bend the grounded elbow just a little bit as you find space through the opposite side. Good. The next time you land to the left, so the next time you have your left hand down and your right hand up, stay here. And then on your next inhale, your right elbow falls back behind you with your heart to the sky. Tone the low belly slightly because you are bringing a twist into the spine. And then exhale, round right elbow rolls down, gaze drops down. 2 more. Inhale, open. Keep the low belly gently toned to protect your low back. Exhale, round. One more, inhale, open. Nice, exhale, round. And then we're gonna go right on over to the other side. Inhale, right arm lifts up, cartwheels over. Take your exhale to settle in. And then on your next inhale, your left elbow pours back, heart lifts towards the sky. Exhale, round. Keep that low belly gently toned. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Good, come back up to center. Kick your legs around if you're cross-legged. If you're in diamond pose on the shins, just come forward into table. And I'm gonna turn to the side. So this is gonna be my front of the mat, facing the wall. So with your wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips, tops of the feet on the floor. Start with a nice neutral spine. So a lot of times the belly sinks down, sometimes we kind of fall into the shoulders a bit. Press up and out of the shoulders, draw the lower rib cage up and in, feel the tailbone lengthen out behind you. Get this nice long neutral spine. Take a couple more breaths here, really press down through the pads of the fingers, the base of each finger, the base of your thumb. And then on your next inhale, almost like you're energetically drawing your palms towards your knees. Drop your belly, lift your heart, and lift your tailbone. And then on your exhale, tone the low belly, drop the crown of the head and the tailbone down as you lift through the back of the heart. Inhale, keep moving through your cat and cow. Keep awareness in your palms. Really ground down to the base of each finger to help support the wrists here. And from here, if you want, you can start to shift forward and back a little bit. Perhaps you'd like to circle around. Find some big hip circles or C shapes through each side. Sort of like a free flow here. Feel free to just take any movement that feels good. Perhaps you shift the hips forward and then back towards child's. Move nice and slow at the pace of your breath. Perhaps you close or soften your eyes. And then when you're ready, shift your hips back. These can be nice and wide or together if you'd like. Flip your palms and release your wrists. Open and close your fists as you draw your forehead down towards the mat. You can roll out your wrists in any way that feels good. They're really sore, otherwise just rest. Good, on your next inhale, come back up to table pose. Draw the knees in, face splayed out. On your next inhale, right arm lifts up and open to the side. Exhale, thread your right hand underneath and through. Come down onto your right shoulder, your right cheek, or your right forehead. Your left hand can stay right in front of the face, or take your left hand to your low back. Full deep breath. We are going to play a little bit with some balance later in class, so if you would like, tuck the left toes, lift your left knee off the mat, and start to find a little bit of a balance. As you square your hips and engage your core, if you want to take it to the next level, float your left toes up off of the mat. Your left hand can always come back down onto the floor to support your balance. And then if you took flight, with control, take the left toes down, drop the left knee down. Left hand in front of your face if it isn't already there. Press into the palm as the right arm opens up to the side. Big circle in one direction, and then the other. Take your right hand to the ground. Inhale, lift your heart, cow shape. Exhale, round for cat. Come back to a neutral spine. This time, left arm lifts. Inhale. Exhale, thread your needle. Come all the way down onto the left cheek or forehead, left shoulder. You can stay right here. Right hand can stay in front of your face or maybe take it to the low back. Full deep breath. If you're just sitting in the twist, you can stay right here. If you'd like to play with balance, it's the right toes that will tuck as you lengthen your right leg. Engage the core, square the hips, and if you're taking lift off, float the right toes up off of the mat. With control, tap the toes back down. Right knee comes down. Press your right hand into the mat. Lift the left arm up and open to the side. Big circle through that left shoulder. One direction and the other. And then take your left hand down. One more round of cat and cow if that feels good. Or meander off the midline. Anything that serves you right now. On your next inhale, tuck your toes. Exhale, press your hips up and back, downward facing dog. You might, it's the first one this morning, so you might keep the knees deeply bent and your belly sort of reaching towards your thighs with length in your spine. If that's the case, really spread the fingers nice and wide, press down to the base of each finger. As you press your hands into the mat, feel your shoulders plug into the shoulder girdle so you have that nice balance of muscle energy and organic energy. And then if it feels okay, start to pedal your feet. Let your head and neck release down to the ground. Good, and then take a moment in stillness as you pedal your feet. Feel the length in the hamstrings as you draw your heels down towards the mat. If it's too much on the hamstrings, then keep the bend in the knees rather than in your spine. And then from here, lift your gaze up. Start to step up towards the hands, Uttanasana, forward fold. You can tend your fingers or take your hands onto your blocks if you'd like. Deep bend into the knees. Let your belly meet your thighs and then release your head, neck, and shoulders down towards the mat. Feel free to keep your hands on the ground or you can take a bind, grab the backs of the legs at any point. Ankles, calves, knees, or maybe grab opposite elbows. If you're in a bind and your low back feels okay, take a gentle sway side to side. Good, release your hands back down to the ground. Inhale, lift your heart, lengthen your spine. Maybe keep the knees soft or start to straighten them. And on your exhale, refold, rebend, release the head. Two more, inhale, halfway lift. Maybe your hands come to your shins. Exhale, fold. Last one, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, inhale. Start to feel the heart work up over the hips. Exhale, release. And then this next inhale, bring us all the way up, root to rise. Nice soft knees, nice long spine. Arms come up overhead. Hands to heart, exhale. Let your hands release down by your sides. And pause here in Tadasana. If you can, close or soften your eyes and feel the energy pour back down towards your feet. Full deep breath. On your next inhale, arms rise up. Take your left hand, grab onto your right wrist. Soften your knees, tone your low belly, and then stretch over to the left. So your left hand pulls your right hand over to the left. And then use your inhale, come through center, straighten your knees, switch your grip. Right hand pulls onto the left hand as you drop the knees, bend the knees down, drop the seat a little bit, tone the low belly and come over to the right. And then inhale through center, straighten the legs, release your hands. Exhale, swan dive forward. Nice soft bend in the knees, long spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Hold here. Heels are up high over the toes. Fan your fingers nice and wide. Shoulders stack over the wrists. Really press your palms down. Feel the back of your heart lift up and out of your shoulders. Good. From here, drop your knees to the ground. Shift your shoulders forward and lower to your belly. Slide your hands back towards the base of your rib cage and untuck your toes if they're still tucked. Roll the shoulders back, lift up baby cobra. From here, start to pulse up and down, little pulses. Elbows over the wrists. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can float your palms and continue to pulse. Keep the shoulders rolling back, the elbows rolling in. Good, and then release. Hands come down to the ground. Press up through table pose. Tuck your toes and shift up and back to downward facing dog. Full deep breath. You can always skip that lowering later on in class and just go from plank right back to down dog. And so from here, we'll start our breakdown of the first mandala sequence. So with your right leg, inhale, your right leg comes up behind you, nice and high. Keep your hips square for right now, and just breathe into the back of your left leg. You might even rotate your right ankle. And then from here, look up to the top of your mat, step your right foot up nice and wide to the outside of your right hand. And it might take a couple steps like I just did. I kind of stepped it up, might even guide it. And then from here, we're gonna stay. So you can keep that left knee lifted, or get a blanket or a cushion underneath you, drop your left knee down. This is the first grasshopper, so you can take whatever feels good. Maybe your hands come onto blocks, or if you'd like to come as low as your forearms, you can start with your forearms on your block. Keep that right knee zipped in towards your right shoulder. So you can kind of like kick the foot out to the side, but make sure your foot stays flat. Sometimes when that happens, you kind of peel the foot off the ground. You want to keep the foot flat and your knee over your ankle. So that's just, it helps sometimes with the flexibility of people's hips if they can't keep their foot straight. So just a modified option. And in whatever grasshopper you choose, send your heart and the crown of your head forward. And we won't be here this long every time. We're just going to break down the first one nice and slow. Take one more breath in your grasshopper pose. If you aren't on your hands, start to come back up to your hands. Keep that right knee zipped in. You're going to tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, walk to the left side of your mat, and then bend into your right knee for Sandasana. So the right leg is nice and, bend into your left knee. The right leg is nice and strong, nice and long. You can tent up onto your fingers or take your blocks with you. So your hips can stay high, nice over the knee, or if it feels okay, drop your hips down and rotate your opposite toes. Whichever one you choose, you're going to come through center, head to the right, center, left, one more, center, right, and then this time move to the back of your mat, frame your left foot. Rotate the right heel up and make sure your stance is wide so you're not on a tightrope. So now everybody's facing the back of the mat, and I'll explain cueing nice and clear so you don't have to look back at me. From here, we're gonna lift up into Crescent Warrior 1. So both hands can either start on your left knee, or if you have the strength, you can guide the both hands all the way up overhead. And then pause here in Crescent Warrior One. Deep bend into your left knee. Right heel is lifted. Keep that right leg nice and strong. From here, take your hands to your heart. Shift your heart forward. Slide your right toes up. We're coming into Warrior Three. So as you float your right leg up, you can stay with the hands at heart or take a modified Warrior Three with your hands on the floor. Wherever you are in your Warrior Three, I'll honor the modified version for now. You're gonna take your right toes and tap behind you for 3. Lift back up. 2. Lift back up. 1. Lift back up. Good. From here, guide the right toes back. Crescent Warrior One. Once again. And then hands come down, frame that left foot. Slide the left foot all the way up and through, 3-legged dog. So you're in 3-legged dog, facing the back of your mat with your left leg high. Stay here and breathe. So this is where the fun part comes in. From here, gaze up, right in between the hands. With your right foot, you're gonna take tiny hops all the way up to your hands. And then once your right foot is near your hands, take your left toes to the back of the mat. Ground your left heel and cartwheel the arms up to Warrior Two. Good, it looks like all of you guys are with me, beautiful. So deep bend into the right knee for Warrior Two, facing the back of your mat. Take a breath. Good, from here, lengthen your right leg. Take all 10 toes to the side of your mat, and on your exhale, bend into Goddess Squat. So you're in Goddess Squat now, facing the other side of your mat. It would be technically the right side of your mat if you're looking at the top. Sit a little bit lower. Good, everybody's with me. And then from here, we're heading back to the top of the mat. So it's bend into the left knee, rotate the right heel up, arms come up, and there you are, back. Hopefully I see every one of your faces, good. From here, the right hand comes down to inside the left foot, left arm lifts up to the sky for a twist. And then from here, peel onto the pinky toe side of your right foot, and heel toe your left foot down for a supported side plank. So with the left arm in the sky, you can stay right here in your supported side plank. Left foot is down, you're on the pinky toe side of the right foot. If you have the strength for a full side plank, then you can pick your left leg up and either stack or stagger your feet. And then from here, your left hand comes back down, plank pose. So from plank, you can either skip your lowering and shift right back to down dog, or we'll all shift the shoulders forward, drop your knees if you want support, and lower through chaturanga. Make sure your shoulders and your chest don't dip lower than your elbows. And then inhale, baby cobra, full cobra, or upward facing dog. We'll all meet in downward facing dog on your next exhale. And if you are already in down dog, then just take a couple more breaths with all of us. Pedal out your feet. And we'll go around the other side just as slow. So this time it's the left leg that lifts. Keep the hips square. Take a moment to breathe into the back of that right leg. Look up towards the top edge of your mat. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Grasshopper pose. Settle in. Maybe your right knee comes down. Take whatever variation you did the first time. So if your right knee came down, or if your left knee came down, then take your right knee down. Either stay on your hands or come down onto the forearms. It's important to keep that left left knee tucked in towards the left shoulder. So again, you can sort of kickstand your left foot a little bit, just make sure that the foot stays flat and the knee stacks over the ankle. And if you're on your hands, maybe you kind of sway side to side and feel around that hip. Whatever variation you're in, send the heart forward, send the collarbone forward, like you're broadening your chest. And then wherever you are, come up onto your hands if you aren't there yet. Tuck the right toes. If your knee was down, lift it. Inhale. Exhale, take a walk now to the right side of your mat. Bend into your right knee, Skandasana. So on this side, I'm going to show a little different variation, but of course, if it felt good, drop the hips all the way down and rotate the opposite toes. For those of you that have sensitive knees or just want to work on the quads a little bit, you can keep the hips elevated and take your arms out to the side. And then from here, come through center, bend into the left, center, right, center, left. Good. Center to the right, come to the back of your mat, rotate the left heel up, arms rise up, crescent warrior one. Right knee is bent, left heel is high, lift it over the left toes. Hands come to heart, start to send your heart forward as you slide the left leg up. Warrior three. Remember, hands can stay on the blocks or on the ground for a modified warrior three. And then tap for 3, 2, 1. Guide the left toes down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. Plant your hands, frame your right foot, then send your right foot all the way up and back, three-legged dog. Bend your knees, stack your hip if that feels good. Then re-straighten out your right leg just so you have support, and you're gonna start your little hops. Maybe take 2 or 3 hops so that your left foot comes to the top where your hands are, and then guide the right toes down. Round your right heel, cartwheel up, warrior 2. Deep bend into your left knee. You're facing the back edge of your mat. Take an extra breath here. Good, straighten your left leg, inhale, take all 10 toes to the side. Exhale, bend into goddess pose. Full deep breath in and out. Continue to travel around, head to the top of your mat again. This time, deep bend into your right knee. Arms come up. Inhale. Nice. Exhale, left hand comes down to the inside of your right foot. Start with your twist. And then peel onto the pinky toe side of your left foot. Maybe you heel toe this right foot down to about hip height. You can stay in this modified plank version. Or if you want, stack or stagger your right foot. Good, right hand comes down. Skip your lowering if you want, or take your knees down for modification. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. And that was 1 full cycle around the mat. Full deep breath in and out. In and out. Take your knees to the ground, find child's pose. Flip your palms and release your wrists. We're gonna take 3 to 5 breaths of rest here. So take this moment here to revisit your intention. On your next breath cycle, start to move back to downward facing dog. And we'll move back through that again, this time just a little bit faster. So we'll start with the right leg. As you inhale, your right leg lifts. Perhaps you'd like to bend your knees, stack your hip this time. Exhale, draw your right knee in towards the nose. Step it to the outside of your right hand. Just keep your hands on the ground and your left knee lifted. Take 3 breaths here. A nice, easy grasshopper pose. Heart stays lifted up. Keep that left heel, the left quad lifted up off of the ground. Draw your right knee into your shoulder. Good, inhale here. Exhale, take a walk towards the left side of your mat. Bend into your left knee, Sandasana. You can take the version with the hips all the way down or the hips lifted and the arms out. You're gonna come through center, over to the right, center, left, center, right, center, to the back of the mat, crescent warrior 1. Deep bend into that left knee, extend the right leg out behind you. Hands come to heart, warrior 3. Pause here. Tap right toes down for 3, 2, 1. Right toes come back, crescent warrior 1. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down, frame that left foot, slide that left foot up and back, 3-legged dog. Maybe bend your knees, stack your hip. And then reclose the hip, gaze up in between the hands, take 1 or 2 hops to the top. Left foot lands at the back of the mat. Warrior 2, come up. Deep bend into that right knee. Inhale. Good, facing the back of your mat, deep bend into the right knee. Next inhale, arms come up. All 10 toes face to the side, bend the knees, goddess pose. One more breath. Good, come back up, straighten the legs, head towards the top of the mat, rebend that left knee, arms come up. Inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down, come right into your side plank. Remember, the left foot can stay down for some support, or take the left foot on top of the right. And then the left hand comes down. From plank, either shift back to down dog or take your lowering. We'll all meet you in down dog. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Once we all arrive in down dog, take a full deep breath. Left leg lifts, inhale. Tone the low belly, bend the knees, stack the head. Exhale, take that left knee in towards the nose, step it to the outside of the left hand. Stay high on your hands, deep bend into that left knee, keep the right knee lifted. Broaden the collarbone as you find length through your spine. And then ground the right foot, take a walk towards the right side of the mat, bend into the right knee, Skandasana. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Center, right. Center, left. Center to the top of the mat. Bend into the right knee, arms come up. Always know to adjust your foot stance. So if you notice, I'm always widening my foot stance as I move around the mat. Hands come to heart, shift the heart forward, float left toes up. Warrior 3. Inhale, keep the heart high. Exhale, tap for 3, 2, 1. Good, guide the left toes behind you. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, frame that right foot. Slide back. 3-legged dog with the right foot lifted. Maybe bend your knees, stack your hip. Good, close the hip, gaze up in between the hands. And hop your left foot forward. Right foot lands behind you, warrior 2. Lead with the right arm as you cartwheel up and settle. Full deep breath in and out. Inhale, arms come up. Bend your knees, goddess. Inhale, straighten your legs, come back to the top of your mat, bend into your right knee. Arms come up, crescent warrior 1. Exhale, left hand comes down. Fall right into your side plank. Right foot might stay on the ground for support or stack the right foot. And then right hand comes down. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Full deep breath. Drop your knees to the mat and take rest. Full deep breath here. Really find ease. Take a couple sips of water if you'd like. So we're going to move through that mandala 3 more times, this time with 1 breath and 1 movement. And then we'll wind down. So now that you kind of have a general idea of what it looks like, of course I'm going to flow with you, so don't worry, there'll still be some cueing along the way. Take a couple more breaths in child's pose. One more round. Take a moment to revisit your intention. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog when you're ready. So the flow of this can be really fun. The first time, 1 breath, 1 movement might seem like a little bit much, but then by the second, maybe 3rd time, it really starts to get fun. So just have some patience with yourself and know that I'm always up here and I'll provide cueing through the whole thing. So start with a full deep breath here in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And just take a moment to notice the backs of your legs. Notice the length that you've created. Really ground down through your palms. And on your next inhale, right leg lifts up. Exhale, right foot steps to the outside of your right hand. Inhale, broaden the collarbone, shine the heart forward. Exhale, spin to the left side of the mat, bend into your left knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, right knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Good. Center to the left, back of the mat. Bend into the left knee. Arms rise up. Inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart, warrior 3. Tap for 3, 2, 1. Good, guide the right toes down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, frame the left foot. Send the left foot up and back, 3-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, hop the right toes up towards the hands. Step the left foot back, warrior 3, facing the back of, or I'm sorry, warrior 2, facing the back of your mat. Deep bend into that right knee. Inhale, straighten your leg, kick the feet to the side. Exhale, goddess pose. Inhale, straighten back up. Come to the top of your mat, crescent warrior one. Deep bend into that left knee. Exhale, right hand comes down. Step back, your side plank. Take the modified version with the left foot down. That serves you better. And then left hand down. Plank. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Skip the lowering if you want and just shift up and back from plank. Full deep breath in and out. Left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Broaden the shoulders, inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, walk towards the right side of the mat, bend into the right knee. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center, right, center, left. And then find that momentum, shoot to the back of the mat, crescent warrior one. Bend into that right knee. Exhale, hands to heart. Lift the left leg. Settle in, and then tap. 3, 2, 1. Guide left toes back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, frame that right foot. 3-legged dog, send the right leg back. Inhale, exhale, hop the left toes up towards the hands. Ground the right leg behind you, warrior two. Start to cartwheel the arms up and settle in. Deep bend into that left knee. Full deep breath. Inhale, straightens the legs. All 10 toes face the side. Exhale, God's pose. Kalyasana. Inhale, straighten the legs. Come back to the top of the mat. Rebend the right knee. Crescent warrior one. Left hand comes down. Side plank. Right arm lifts up. And then from here, right hand comes down. From plank, either lower or shift back. Downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Drop your knees to the mat, take a moment of rest, and just let that one breath, one movement sort of integrate into your practice. We're going to take it 2 more times, so just take this moment of rest. If you're feeling a little confused about the flow, I'm sure by the 3rd time we do it, you'll be comfortable with it, and then it will be over. So just have some patience with yourself. It's all just fun, flowy movements. If you skip something, it's totally fine. Make your way nice and slowly back up to downward facing dog. Couple breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana, pedal out the feet, notice the backs of the legs, and then we'll flow for 2 more rounds. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, take the right foot, step it outside of the right hand. Inhale, broaden the chest. Exhale, take a walk towards the left side of the mat, bend into the left knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Keep flowing. Center, left, center, right, center to the back of the mat. Then into the left knee, arms rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. Shift the heart forward, float the right toes up, warrior 3. Tap for 3, 2, 1. Ground the right toes, arms come up, inhale. Exhale, frame the left foot, slide it up and back, three-legged dog. Inhale, lift up onto the right tippy toes. Exhale, hop the right foot forward. Ground the left foot, warrior two. As you lead with the left arm, cartwheel the arms up. Facing the back of the mat. Inhale, arms rise up, straighten the legs. Exhale, goddess pose. Inhale, up. Back or front of the mat, bend into the left knee. Crescent warrior one. Take the right hand down to the inside of the left foot. Step back, side plank. Left hand comes down. We'll meet in downward facing dog. You can take a couple breaths in child if you'd like. And then meet us in down dog. Or of course honor your lowering and then meet us in down dog. Once you arrive, full deep breath in and out. Left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step the left foot up, right outside the left hand. Inhale, broaden the chest. Exhale, walk to the right side of the mat, bend into the right knee, Skandasana. Inhale, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, and then spin to the back of the mat. Keep that right knee bent, arms come up. Exhale, frame the right foot, slide your right foot back, three-legged dog. Inhale, and exhale. Next inhale prepares the hop, so lift the left heel. Exhale, step up. Good, guide the right toes back. Warrior two, left knee forward. Full deep breath in. And out. Straighten your legs. Inhale, face all 10 toes to the side. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, up. Face to the front of your mat. Right knee bends, arms lift up. Inhale, crescent warrior one. Take the left hand down. Step back, your version of side plank. Don't forget about this modification. You can always take this. And then right hand down. Shift forward. Find your lowering or we'll meet in downward facing dog. Drop to your knees, take one breath in child's pose. A little reset before our last flow. Now that you know where it's going, this last one might be a little bit more fun and flowy. Take your way back to downward facing dog if you weren't there. Right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step it to the outside of your right hand. Broaden the chest, inhale. Exhale, Skandasana to the left. Inhale, center, to the right. Center, to the left. Center, to the right. Good, center, to the left, bend into the left knee, face the back of the mat, crescent warrior one. Exhale, hands to heart, float the right leg up, warrior three. Tap for 3, 2, 1. Guide right toes back, inhale, crescent warrior one more time. Exhale, frame the left foot, slide the left foot back, inhale. Exhale, hop the right foot up. Left toes land, warrior two. Lead with the left arm. Inhale here. Exhale. Right knee is towards the back of the mat. Good. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Face all 10 toes to the side. Exhale, goddess pose. Inhale, straighten, face the front of the mat, rebend into the left leg, arms rise up. Exhale, take your right hand down to the ground, step back, side plank, facing the left. Left hand down, try to take the power if you haven't yet. Shift the shoulders forward, of course drop the knees if you need to. Lower, lift the heart, back bend, downward facing dog. Right away, left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, left hand, foot steps to the outside of the hand. Inhale, broaden your chest. Exhale, flow to the right, bend into the right knee, Skandasana. Inhale, center, to the left. Nice, center, right. One more time, center, left. This time center, it takes you back to the mat, bend into the right knees, your arms lift up, you're facing the back of your mat. Warrior three, hands to the heart, lift the left leg up. Tap for 3, 2, 1. Left toes land, crescent warrior one. Once again, inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, slide the right leg up. Warrior three. Inhale, float the left heel high. Exhale, hop the left foot forward towards the hands. Ground the right foot in warrior two. Lead with the right arm. Cartwheel arms up. Good, from here, straighten the right leg, inhale, face all 10 toes to the side. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, lengthen, face the front of the mat, bend into the right knee. Arms come up. Exhale, left hand to the inside of the left foot, step back, side plank. Right hand comes down, try to keep the power, shift the shoulders forward, elbows in lower. Exhale, heart up. Inhale, heart up. Exhale, hips back. Full deep breath, in and out. Drop your knees to the mat, take child's pose, and rest. Feel your heart rate. Feel the heat you've cultivated. Couple more rounds of breath. And then re-extend your arms. Lift up into table pose and then shift back to downward facing dog. It's been a lot of work in the quads. So I want to take a moment to stretch the quads open. So on your next inhale, your right leg will lift up. And just like we did in our Mandala Flow, step your right foot up to the top of your mat, right outside your right hand. This time, take your left knee down. And you might take your hands on your blocks or even your forearms on your blocks. But if your quads are really tight, then I suggest you stay on your hands. Keep zipping that right knee in. Again, you can turn the right foot out. Just make sure the knee stacks over the ankle. And then from here, keep your left hand on the ground. Bend your left knee and reach back with your right hand. So if you can't find your toes, then press into your right foot, shift the hips back, and then you should be able to find the toes. And then from there, your right knee is really what guides the stretch of your left quad, because the more you bend your right knee, the more your hips drop down, which can be more of a quad stretch. So if it feels better to keep that right leg a little bit longer, that's perfectly okay. Find your quad stretch wherever's comfortable and just sit at your edge. Don't push yourself any further. We've done a lot of Skandasana squats from left to right today, so your quads will just probably feel a little tighter and just need a little extra breath. And then try not to slingshot your left foot down. Take your right hand back in. You're gonna slide that right leg back. Tuck the toes, shift up and back, downward facing dog. This time, left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step the left foot up to the outside of the left hand, drop the right knee down. Again, make sure your knee stacks over your ankle, ground through the right hand, bend the right knee. Perhaps you lengthen your left leg so you can reach back with your left hand, find your toes. And then really your left leg kind of gauges the stretch after that. The more you bend into your left knee, the more of a stretch you'll feel. And notice that each side is different. Like this side on me is just not having it. So I'm gonna keep my left leg a little bit longer. And just know that you do so many different things, and each side takes dominance in all those different things. One side usually takes dominance more than the other. So one side could be completely different. After a couple rounds of breath, you might coax that quad open. And then try not to slingshot your right foot down. Guide it back down. Left hand lands, slide your left knee back for table. From here, tuck the toes, shift up and back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, pigeon pose, Kapotasana. Take the left knee towards the left wrist, and then your left foot towards your right hip. So rather than finding that sort of 90-degree angle here in the knee, you're tucking that right foot back towards the left hip point. And then with your left toes tucked, kind of wiggle the left leg back. Then untuck your left toes. Crawl up onto the fingertips, lengthen your spine. And of course, if the right hip is a little too tight, you can take a block or a blanket and kind of roll it under the hip for some support. And if you are more comfortable in this extended version of the heart hides, sort of like a king pigeon version, you can stay here. If it feels okay in the hips to come forward onto your forearms, then come all the way down, fold over that right thigh, and breathe. Full deep breath. And then very slowly come up onto your hands. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, and just step back to down dog. You might want to open up the right leg into three-legged dog if that feels okay, and sort of circle the knee or the ankle. And then left leg lifts. Inhale. Kapotasana, left knee to the left wrist. The left heel kind of snuggles up against that right hip bone. You can keep the right toes tucked for a moment and slide that right leg back, and then untuck the toes. Stay in this king pigeon version if that feels good. It is a totally different hip, muscle of the hip that gets activated here. And then if it feels okay, you can lower down, folding over the left thigh. Pigeon pose. Either stay on the forearms, or if you find enough flexibility in your hips, you can kick the elbows out and draw your forehead onto your hands. Full deep breath. And then slowly come back up onto your hands, tuck your right toes, create space under your right knee, and then maybe you step back to down dog, or that left leg might be craving a three-legged dog if you'd like to open and stack the hip for a second. Pedal out the feet. Once they both land, just breathe for a moment into that energy that's flushing through the hips. Then come down to table pose, swing your feet around, and we'll meet on your back. Once you land on your back, roll your knees into your chest. Give yourself a gentle squeeze. Keep your tailbone nice and flat, and as you squeeze your knees in towards your chest, maybe take a gentle rock side to side. Circle the knees if that feels good. And then from here, Ananda Balasana. Grab onto the ankles or the pinky toe sides of the feet. Feel your knees come down towards your shoulders as your feet lift up towards the sky. Keep the tailbone nice and long, connected to the mat. Good, and then bring the knees back in towards your chest. Let your feet land on the mat. We're gonna come into some supine twists. So some laying down twists. So press your feet into the mat and shift your hips to the left. Then place your hips onto the left side of your mat. Pick your feet up off of the floor and roll your knees to the right. From here, your arms either come into a goal post or a T shape. Gaze is either neutral or over the left shoulder. Breathe. If you want a little bit more of a deeper stretch, you can take your bottom leg, your right leg, and extend it nice and long towards the top edge of the mat. And then sort of use your right hand to guide your left knee down towards the floor. One more breath. Feel that stretch through your left shoulder and pectoral muscle. And then bring both knees in if you have one leg extended, and then lift the knees back up. Place your feet on the floor, straighten your hips out. And then when you're ready, press your feet down, pick the hips up, take them to the right this time. Drop the hips down, pick the knees up, and let them fall to the left. So that allows for proper alignment of the spine. And then of course you can goal post or tee your arms. Gaze is neutral or to the right. And if you want a little bit more of a deeper twist, it's the left leg, the bottom leg, that extends down. And then maybe your left hand finds the outside of your right knee. Take the knees back in if you have your left leg extended, and then roll onto your back. Straighten your hips out onto your mat. Let the bottoms of your feet come together in Supta Baddha Konasana, and let your knees kind of splay open. Arms can stay down by your side, or maybe your left hand comes to your heart and your right hand comes to your belly. Close or soften your eyes. And with as minimal movement as possible, begin to straighten your limbs out and head towards Shavasana. Of course, if you'd like a blanket at the backs of your knees, then feel free to sit up and take that there, maybe some socks or a sweatshirt, depending on if you're a little chilly. Perhaps a blanket over you. Just try to stay low and slow. And once you've settled into your mat, give yourself an internal body scan from your feet to the crown of your head. Make sure every inch of you is soft and release down towards the mat, especially your tailbone, your sacrum, and your glutes area. Sometimes we unconsciously keep them clenched or tight. See if you can soften the low back. Return to a natural rhythm of breath. Revisit your intention. Let your practice integrate and the earth fill you with energy. Take this moment of rest, of relaxation, of ease, and really surrender to this rest. Try not to anticipate what you're going to do when you get up. Try not to anticipate what is happening within you right now. And just feel the natural weight of your body sort of melt, drape into the earth. Feel the earth fully support you. Outside the box. Maybe there's no box to think outside. Maybe there's no lock, no door or key. Perhaps there's just the sacred, small me holding tight to turf that isn't mine, trying to be somebody. I struggle for release. I seek and strive, all while failing to see the obvious. The only walls in front of me are those I've built myself. The fortress of my personality, so well defended, it seems impenetrable. What I create, I can take down. Or maybe I am free right now. Outside the Box by Dana Falls. Begin to deepen your breath. Re-energize small movements to your fingers and your toes. Stretch or lengthen in any way that feels good. When you're ready, gather up all of your limbs and roll over to one side. Pause here for a moment. Feel gratitude towards yourself for showing up. For honoring breath and movement for your mind and your body. When you're ready, use your top arm to support you up to a gentle seat. Eyes stay soft or closed. Hands land at heart center. We'll seal our practice with the universal sound of Om. So plug your thumbs into your heart space to feel the vibration as it moves through you. When you're ready, full deep inhale to prepare. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice this morning.